In this tutorial, I am going to show you how you can install and set up megahit on a Linux system. For those who don't know, megahit is a tool that is used to perform genome assembly. So you can visit the developer's GitHub page to read more about it. And this is a brief description that you can use to get started. I will leave the link to this page in the description box. So for this tutorial, we are going to use pre-built binaries. And you can find that when you visit the developer's GitHub page. So let's first make sure we get that binaries and then we can set it up. And of course, you need to make sure you have a Linux system. So on this page, just come to the right side and click on releases. When you click it, you'll be sent to another page. Then you can get the latest release, which is this one here. So we will get the binaries, which is this one. So if you want to get the binaries, you need to click it and then you'll be asked to save it. But I'm working on the terminal, so what I'll do is to get the download link. So I'll right click and then I'll copy the link and then I'll move to my terminal to download it. Okay, I am on my terminal now, so I'll first cd to my home directory. And then I'll use wget to download it. So I'll say wget and then I supply it with the download link. And so I'll execute this command. Okay, so we have downloaded the binaries. This is a tarball. So let's take a look at this. Let's do an ls and you'll find it here. It's compressed. And so what we have to do next is to extract the contents of this file here, this tarball. So I'll say tar xvfz, then I supply it with the file name. So let's execute this command. Okay, so we have extracted the contents. So let's do an ls and we will find a directory here. Here, this is the directory. So we can ls into it, then we will see bin. So let's ls into the bin directory as well. So we ls, we specify the directory and we say /bin. And we will find the binaries there. So we are going to test megahit. So we are going to execute this one here. So to test, you have to specify the directory /bin and you indicate the file that you want to execute, which is megahit. So let's run this command. Okay, we have executed the megahit binary. In some cases, you may see this error message coming up. This means that megahit was not able to find Python in this directory. Megahit uses some Python commands for some of its activities. So if you see this, then there are a couple of ways to resolve it. If truly you don't have Python installed, then you need to install Python. But if you have Python installed, then you can create a symbolic link or symlink. A symlink is just a shortcut to another file or another directory. And so if you have Python installed, then you just need to create that symlink and then point it to where the original Python file is. So for me, I have Python 3 installed and I have Python 2 installed, but I'm going to create a symlink and then point it to Python 3 because Python 2 is no longer supported. So that's what I'll do here. So first of all, I'll find out where my Python 3 is installed. I'll find out where my Python 3 is installed. So I'll say which Python 3. And so I'll have it's been displayed for me. So this is the path to Python 3. So I'll create a symlink and put it in the /user/bin, and then that will point to this file here. So that's how we will do it. We will say sudo ln-s, and then I'll say /user/bin/python 3. This is the file, the original file. And then this will be the shortcut name. That's what it's about. So I'll say /user or /usr. I prefer to say it as user. slash usr slash bin slash python. Yeah, like this slash python. So this is it. So this is how we will do it. So slash user slash bin slash python, and then I'll execute this command. Because this command requires an administrative access root account, that is why I use the word sudo. And so I will need to enter my password. So I'll use this one. I'll enter password here, and then the symlink will be created. So now I can say ls slash usr slash bin slash python, and it will be displayed for me. That means that the symlink has been created. Now, if you don't have administrative access, then you can ask your system administrator to create that symlink for you. Alternatively, you can install megahit using Anaconda, and I have a tutorial on that as well. So if you're not able to use this approach to install megahits, you can also use Anaconda to install. That's also possible, or you can compile from source. So you don't have to worry. So now I have my symlink, so I can call megahit again, and then it will be executed for me. So now we have resolved that issue. Now let's look at another thing again. We called megahits by specifying this part here. Okay, now this can be problematic because in Linux, you'll be moving from one directory to the other. So what we can do is to configure our system so that whenever we call megahits, like this, let me play the screen here. Whenever we call megahits, it will be displayed for us, or whenever we call megahits, it will be executed. Let me put it that way. So what we are going to do is to configure our system and then get this to work for us. At the moment, we have not configured our system. And so when we issue the megahit command, we are going to get this error message. So we are going to resolve it now. So first of all, we need to create a directory. I'll say make the apps. And then I'll move this entire directory, the megahit directory, into the apps directory. It's a way to organize my files. So I'll move this there. As I'm moving, I'll also rename it, but you can choose to maintain this original name. That's also fine. So I'll say mv-v. I'll specify the directory, and then I'll say apps slash megahits. I'm renaming this directory. That is all I'm doing here. I am moving this here, and then the process of moving, I'm also renaming the directory just to make things shorter. So this is how it's going to be. So let's execute this command. So we will have this statement renamed this to this. So now if I do an ls into the apps directory, I should find megahits there. So I can ls apps slash megahits, and then I'll still see everything here. Okay, so that is the first part. Now we need to get the path, the absolute path for the megahit binaries. So I'll cd here into the bin directory and then get it. So I'll say cd apps megahit slash bin. I have my binaries, so I'll do pwd to get the absolute path. So this part is what I'll need. So make sure you also copy this part. Whatever will be displayed for you, make sure you copy it. Now let's cd back to our home directory. So what we are going to do next is to edit the .bashic file and then place a command there that will help us to execute megahit by specifying just this one, this name here. So before we edit the .bashic file, we need to make a copy. I repeat, before we edit the .bashic file, we need to make a copy of it. It's a backup so that if anything goes wrong, we can reverse whatever change we made. Hopefully nothing will go wrong. So I'll make a copy. So I'll say cp rc. I'll say /rc.back. So this is a backup. So if I do an ls, I'll find it there. It's just a backup. Now we are going to edit the actual .bashic file. So I'll do that here. I'll use nano, but you can use any text editor as well. So I'll say nano bash rc. Then I'll open it. I'll move to an empty line, and then I'll enter my command here. I already have Anaconda installed, but I'll add another thing here. So I'm going to issue a similar command here. Okay, but this time, instead of specifying this one here, I'll put in the path for the megahit. So I will say export path equals $path, bring a colon n, then paste the absolute path for megahertz. I will now save the changes. And then I'll open a new terminal for the changes to take effect. So I'll open a new terminal. So do same. Okay, so now I have opened a new terminal, so I can say megahertz to be executed. And also search for it. I'll say which megahertz. Then the paths will be given to me. So this is how we set up megahertz using the binaries. So now we can do a cleanup. Let's do an ls. We have this. We also have this. So we have to remove them. So I'm going to remove them, but you can also keep them if you want, but I don't want them to occupy space, so I'll remove them now. Okay, so I'll remove them. I'll start with this one. So I'll say rm-i. I'll specify the name. The -i will allow the bash shell to give me another prompt just to confirm. I prefer to do it because I want to safely remove my files. I want to make sure that I am removing the correct file, because the rm command, when you issue it, it's irreversible. So I'll execute this command and I'll type y for the file to be removed. It's done. I'll do same for the starball. And then I'll confirm. So now everything has been done nicely. So this is how we configure the megahertz. This is how we set up and configure megahertz. So now that you are done with this, I also encourage you to watch this tutorial that shows you how to perform assembly using megahertz.